Yeah. So another thing we has aired on or it was ESPN, ESPN, I think. There was a tell-all between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant. So both of them played for Golden State Warriors through their run of two championships and one finals berth. So there was a famous incident. If you don't know basketball, you know I'll paint the picture so we can get where we are. So during a game during the season, after winning two championships, KD and Draymond fought on the bench. They were down by two. KD wanted the ball, and Draymond just turned it over. They went to the bench. The story is that Draymond called KD a bitch, and just said he's out the door in a way. Um, it's been about a year, over a year, over 2 years since that incident took place, and a lot of people saying that that's the downfall of the dynasty. But this tell all was, I guess, from the players' point of view, from both of them, because they're the two players that are involved. Let's start out, RJ. Who do you think is at fault? Because in the documentary, they're both blaming management.
Look, at the end of the day, like they're the ones who's done that. They sort of need to sort of take the blame, and not sort of go a different direction and blaming management, saying that, oh, Steve Kerr did this, management did this, but they're the one who started a fight. They started everyone to talk about it, and then for them to say, well, just leave it, let us deal with it. But it's sort of like your parents. It's like you're letting your kids fight, but you don't oversee it and see the fight. If you don't do anything, it's well, you don't know the situation. You don't know if it's going to escalate further. You don't know whether it's going to be sorted. So, that thing, that's their stance. That's the management and the coaching stance on it. But with the players, it said, oh, just let us be and let us handle it. That's not really, because you've got two guys with big egos, and you're going to let them resolve something, and you can see by their body language in practices and whatnot whether it's resolved. And I'm sure they were worried, so I think that's why they stepped in. And now for them to blame it, it's a bit low. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
RJ, I think both of them were saying. Remember the Bulls when Scotty wouldn't go back into the game, and they gave Tony Kukoc a shot, and he shot it and he won it. Um,
mm,
because he didn't go in the game when people wanted him to. They had a
mm,
players only meeting straight after the game to resolve it.
mm.
So I guess both of those players, the Golden State players, wanted something like that. They wanted something like that. Like I can see from their side, um, but in terms of blaming management, yeah, that's a bit much. It's a bit much.
Yeah, and the
Like
Bulls didn't like their management, but they never really blamed their management. They took it
yeah,
upon themselves and sorted it out, which I
yeah,
think is, comes down to maturity. I mean, that Bulls
yeah,
team was really mature. These
yeah.
guys were still young, so they weren't gonna like, well, we'll sort it out. They're gonna be like, well, who are we gonna blame? So
Mm.
you know they blame the people that are paying them,
Yeah,
and
it's
not sort
strange.
of take any responsibility for it. So
It's strange
I
because
don't
if
know.
they, because if KD and Draymond wanted a players only meeting, they should have done it. I don't understand, like
Mm,
what's holding them back. Like why is the management fault? Like if a players only meeting doesn't involve any coaches, like you get together, you talk about the issues, you resolve it, and especially if they have a
mm,
team of veterans. They had like they had Andre Iguodala, they have Boogie Cousins. These guys are big personalities, and they basically will help the team, help resolve it. But I
mm,
felt that I think after that, you know, Draymond and management didn't want to provoke KD because he's leaving regardless, right? So
mm,
further on the conversation in the interview, Draymond asks KD like, the third year you were pretty much out the door, one foot out the door. And then KD responds, he just wanted to do something different. But the way he approached that year, that was his last year. He didn't tell anyone that it was his last year, and he just wanted to play basketball. I understand
mm,
from a ball player, like if you're playing for a team, you want to zero in. Um, his attitude changed. Like we won two championships with him, and the third one, like I think he didn't really want to be there, but it was it's one of those things where if you win three in a row, right? You win three in a row,
mm.
it'll be awesome. Like you're basically in the record books. I'm
That's
pretty
right.
sure that that was KD. Like similar to LeBron when he got his 2 in Miami. I could see he was done. Like just seeing the team was falling apart, but he went for 3 in a way just to see what happens, right?
Mm.
Similar to the situation. Um, yeah. So I guess the point I was trying to make with that comment was KD was out the door. Do you agree with that, RJ?
I think that argument had pushed him out the door. I think it was already out like before that, because he knew that he didn't really fit in. Like those guys were a certain way, and he was a different sort of way, and he didn't fit that mold. So, but that argument really confirmed that he was really out. So, unfortunate that he had to leave, but look, man, you were contracted. You have to be there to play. You know what I mean? Like, no matter whether you like them or not, you just have to try and play to win. You could do something, go down in history for something, which very rare teams, get to do. So, but with them, they always think about other things now. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, rather than focus on trying to make history and then go down as one of the best, they didn't do it. They focus on other things like money and feeling like this and feeling like that. I'm like, dude, like you just go down in history, like try to be one of the best, like repeat. Not many people can say that, so it's
Yeah,
just disappointing, really. So
true. But even with all this drama, like the Golden State Warriors still had a chance to three-peat. If Clay didn't go down, if KD didn't go down, they would have won. They would have won 3-0. Like there's
they
no
would have
doubt in
won,
my
yeah, for
mind.
sure.
There's no doubt in my mind. So it just showed KD turn up and if they focus on the year, but they see we mentioned it too, where the media always has a narrative, right? And like the narrative was, let's just keep on poking at KD because he gets upset. Like keep on poking at him, he's gonna lose his shit. Like, on Twitter, on social media, they keep on poking the bear, right? Poking the bear because a team like Golden State, like people say it's the best offensive team ever. Like just to have the amount of talent, and then they had a chance where they had a $40 million slot because the salary cap went up. They had the same team, championship team, and then they added KD. It's one of those things that we talk about Malice in the Palace, that it was a bunch of bad things. Golden State was a bunch of good things that actually fell in place. So
that's right.
So with that, they could have won 3 championships if they weren't injured. So this is bad luck, right? This is bad luck. These things happen. Like
It is. Injuries happen. Unfortunately, injuries is the big thing. With a lot of opportunities with trying to win. It's always an asterisk when there's an injury, because if that person didn't go down, what if? That's the big question. But it happens.
So and then KD's now in Brooklyn. I think he enjoys it. He's playing with his mates. It's one of those things where he has his championship, 2 championships, and he has really nothing to prove. He's got MVP, he's got Finals MVP. He's pretty much ticked off every box. And he's doing what he loves now in the NBA in Brooklyn. So another point I wanted to make was Draymond. Draymond is talking like he doesn't play in Golden State anymore. To actually disrespect your current employers. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Maybe there's a tactic move behind that.
Yeah. Like this is what I want to talk about. Like does Draymond want to get traded?
And he's on a big contract too.
Yeah.
With Clutch Sports. Hint, hint. Let's not go into it, but we know what we're talking about.
So yeah, because there's talk about getting Ben onto Golden State, and then because he's a non-shooter, like you can't have Draymond and Ben on the same team. So is there a possibility you trade one for the other? Like it doesn't help Philly that much because you're losing a playmaker. But in terms of Golden State, it kind of works. Like in terms of on paper, like there's little things, right? So Draymond's played with the Splash Brothers for years, so he knows where they like it. It's automatic. But so I guess we're in agreement that we think that Draymond has something hidden here,
hidden agenda.
It's like you and me. Like if we talk shit about our employers, the fuck, like we basically expect it to be booted, All right.
Watch your back. Watch your back. Something's
Yeah,
coming.
like if it's not gonna happen today, it's gonna happen tomorrow. Like you basically put a bullseye on your back. So
Correct. I was gonna say that.
yeah, it's kind of out of left field in terms of, for me anyway, because I don't follow Draymond Green that closely, but Golden State Warriors, when they traded for their draft picks this year, they spoke to Clay, Curry, and also spoke to Draymond. So like in my mind, that those guys are part of the future, right? They're present and then part of the future.
But then again, you never know. I mean, to get views, I mean, with the Scottie Pippen thing these days, you got to talk a bit of trash to sort of get audiences, to just get a bit of attention. So, I mean, that could be part of that. Maybe he's already filled them in that, hey, man, I'm going to say this, so don't take nothing out of it. You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think if he gave them the heads up, which you think he might have, because there hasn't been any backlash. Like there hasn't been any.
Yeah, and they're paying him big money. They're going to pay him big money.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he has. It's a tactic move. I mean, and he's on a show here, so he wants to get ratings. And in order for you to get ratings, you need drama, and that's the drama that they're talking about. So
yeah, so this is something new, like we haven't seen before. So it's like having a current player in the NBA interviewing the current players. Like there is podcasts out there that I guess not many superstar podcasts. Like I guess I classify Draymond Green as the upper tier talent, more defensively and assist wise. So in terms of his interview skills and the overall experience, did you enjoy it, and what aspects did you enjoy from the interview?
I enjoyed it because I thought it would be very interesting seeing, two guys with big egos and talk about it. I'm sure they're friends already. I'm sure they've already forgotten about it. But like, look, man, we all have we were like that. We have friends like that we sort of, we run heads to. But at the end of the day, we're friends, and you don't take it personally. And I think they're already over it. I knew it would be interesting, and I think he would be good at it in the long run, because he has that personality. He has like a stirring mentality, where he stirs shit up. That's what it is. So he's good at it. So I think he has a plan for the afterlife of the NBA, and I think he'll be good at it. To be honest with you, I mean, he's already appearing on some interview shows for basketball now for the
TNT
NBA.
every time, yeah.
TNT, yeah. So he's really got his foot in the door. I think he can see the door already where he's going to retire. So, I mean, he's good at it. He's like, I wouldn't say to this extent, but I think he'll be Charles Barkley 2.0.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. That was what I was thinking. He's a new version. He's a new version. He's a new version of it, right? It's a new version of
That's
it.
Right.
Like Barkley always calls him the triple singles.
Triple single. Yeah. True.
Yeah, it's quite funny. I guess my views on the interview was cool. Like I saw it in my feed, in my YouTube feed that was coming up because it was coming up, and when it came out, I watched it. It was very raw. They made it out like it's very raw, and it's raw. It was, and it was a good time too, for them to release it. They went to Olympics together and they won the gold medal. So
That's right.
So they're kind of trending. They're kind of trending in all social medias and in the news. So it was a good time. But one thing it's like this happened 2 years ago. So a lot of things they said was kind of already out there. Like in terms of the management thing, that was new. That was new, the management thing, because they had to blame someone else.
I didn't know about that either.
But you look at management point of view, they had to. Draymond's the one that called the other player, something, and there has to be some reprimand for it, right? Like you can't just let him go and let him do nothing, and then everyone will just call themselves out, like and a team will be all over the place. So. So I think Draymond's trying to get himself traded. He's setting up his career. And like you pointed out, AJ, like they just want to get clicks. They just want to get clicks. That's it. Like they want people to watch it, right? So like everything out there, every organization wants to make profit, and these media organizations want to make profit by views, just like us. So segues, you should subscribe to us. Like this video, like RJ. That's all I had. That's all I had for today. RJ, did you have any closing statements or anything you want to tell us?
Just watch those two documentary guys. Like if you got nothing else to do, those two documentaries are quite good. Or one documentary and one interview. So those are quite good things to watch, especially with this pandemic happening. There's a lot of insight into what happened. So Malice of the Palace and also Chips by Draymond Green with Kevin Durant. So check it out. It's a good watch. But apart from that, till next time, guys. I mean, we've got more content for you coming up, so stay tuned.
Cool. Later, guys.
See you guys.